Beyond Yellowstone, in northwest Wyoming near the town of Pinedale, lies a land in many ways still as wild as the days when the first mountain men set foot here. 1,000,000 acres in size, spectacular wilderness areas highlighted by hundreds of pure mountain lakes provide an ambiance unlike any other. Here, sparkling trout streams flow down from high country valleys. And wide open plains covered in a carpet of sagebrush stretch to the distant horizon. It's little wonder that such a rich landscape supports a wide array of wildlife.
We have the full complement of big game species found in North America and the whole suite of large predators. We've got moose, elk, mule deer, white-tailed deer, bighorn sheep, grizzly bears, black bears, mountain lions. We've got wolves now after the reintroduction into Yellowstone. All of the large carnivores appear in Sublette County.
80% of the lands are public, and much of the area is off the beaten path. Sublette County also contains one of the most important wildlife travel corridors on the continent.
Wyoming has probably 2/3 of the world's population of pronghorn antelope, and we've got a pronghorn migration that goes clear from Jackson Hole down to Interstate 80 near Rock Springs. Big game animals have to migrate from summer ranges when winter conditions become too harsh, so they have to rely on lower elevation winter ranges to make it through the critical winter period.
Species like the mule deer must negotiate these ancient travel lanes to arrive in time on the lower sagebrush-covered flats before snow piles up in the high country. Healthy stands of sage provide life-giving benefits to other wildlife as well.
Pronghorn antelope, sage grouse, and mule deer are all sagebrush obligates, which means that they need sagebrush habitats to survive. And they get much of their winter nutrition from the leaves and stems of sagebrush plants, which is higher in protein than some of the other plants that are available. We have a lot of the sagebrush high desert steppe habitat here in Sublette County, and that's one of the reasons we have the wildlife resource that we have.
Other prime wildlife habitats are provided by the area's pristine mountain ranges. Besides necessary hangouts for curious little fellows like the Clark's nutcracker, these are the haunts of the hardy Rocky Mountain elk. But they too must retreat to lower elevations to find food in winter, with a little bit of help from the Wyoming Game and Fish Department.
Elk management in northwest Wyoming is more complicated than in many areas. We've ended up with a series of elk feed grounds to accommodate elk winter forage needs because it was so difficult to manage damage situations and other elk conflicts during the winter time.
There is a certain type of rugged individualism that comes with the territory here. And that's certainly the case with John Fandeck, who, along with his wife Lucy, operate an elk feed ground during the long winter months in the upper Green River Valley.
I personally have been involved there the last 26 years. When I started doing that job, I never imagined I would be involved that long. But after a certain point, I kind of felt like I was responsible for those elk. I go over there every day, usually look forward to it, unless it's 40 below zero and the wind blowing. Always something interesting happening. and I thoroughly enjoy the animals, never get tired of looking at them.
John and Lucy feed elk here the old-fashioned way, with a lot of muscle and sweat, and 2 commanding draft horses like those used when this land was first settled. And because they live with elk and other wildlife in such a spectacular neck of the woods, John and Lucy have a deep-felt appreciation for wild places and wild things.
Of course, generations of elk have come back there year after year with a certain number of lead cows, know exactly where to go, and the rest of the herd follow. The bulls, of course, are quite regal looking, the massive antlers. That's something that makes the job entirely interesting, watching these bull elk when they come in. The reason we do enjoy the abundance of wildlife in this particular area is because of the habitat that is available, but it is the wildlife that gives life to the landscape.